"Halt, or I'll shoot." Private Jake Winnegar thought he saw some movement underneath a tree, but then the clouds went over the moon and he couldn't tell. So he just waited for the clouds to move again. Jake Winnegar and his unit were in a small village in Germany. The fighting during World War II had ended in Europe, and his unit had been assigned to that village to help keep the peace, find any Nazis who were hiding out, and to help the villagers however they could. Jake was on guard duty that night. The clouds moved away from the moon, and then he could clearly see that underneath the tree was a small figure holding something, smaller than a bread box, but it had a metallic gleam. It clearly wasn't a weapon. So again, Jake just yelled out, "Halt!" And of course, the figure took off with this metallic object. Jake easily caught up to a boy, and to his great surprise, he saw that the boy was holding a menorah. "Boy, what are you doing out this late at night with a menorah?" "How do you know what a menorah is? You're wearing a uniform." "Oh, boy, I'm not German," even though Jake was speaking German. "I'm from America. See the letters here? It says U.S. Army. That's how I can be wearing a uniform and know what a menorah is. I'm Jewish. So, my name is Jake. What's your name?" "David." "David, tell me, what are you doing out this late at night with a menorah?" "Well, years ago when things were getting very bad, my whole family came out one night and buried our menorah underneath that tree. And we all agreed that when things got better and we all came back to the village, we would meet here. I guess I'm the first one back since I was able to find the menorah there." "David, don't you know where your parents are?" "No. I saw my father shot and killed in the concentration camp, and I haven't seen my mother since we got on the train. So, no, I don't know where anyone is." "David, I will find you a place to sleep tonight, and tomorrow I will make sure your name is registered in all the possible relief agencies so your family will be able to find you." "Thank you, Jake." So Jake did just that, and he would check back with David, seeing how he was doing. They became friends over the weeks and weeks that went by without any reply from anyone in David's family. Finally, Jake had to tell David one day, "My unit's got our orders to go back to the U.S. We're going to be discharged from the Army. David, would you like to go back to New York City with me and wait? We'll tell all the relief agencies where you are so that when your family comes, they'll be able to find you in New York in my home. Would you like to do that, David?" Yes, Jake, I would. I would like to go and live in your home." So that's how Jake and David's menorah came to New York City. David's menorah held a place of honor in Jake's small home in Queens. One day, one of Jake's friends, who hadn't seen him since Jake had returned, came over to visit. And as soon as he came into the living room, the menorah caught his eyes. He said, "Jake, where did you get this in Europe? This is a magnificent menorah. It's very unique. We don't have anything like it in the Jewish Museum." For you see, Jake's friend was a curator at the Jewish Museum in New York City. "Jake, I'm sure our museum would love to buy this from you, and then it could be seen by many people. I think it could be worth up to $50,000. And in 1945, $50,000 could buy you a very nice home, or two pretty good homes, nice middle-class homes. But Jake saw David's face turn white at the mention of selling the menorah, and Jake quickly said, no, you don't understand. This is not something I bought when I was in Europe. This is something that David brought with him. And the curator immediately turned to David and said, oh, I'm very sorry, David. If I had realized it was yours, I would have never suggested that the museum try to buy it from you. And David said, thank you. It's all I have left of my family. So, of course, on the first night of Hanukkah in 1945, it was David's menorah that was placed on the windowsill, on a window facing the street in Queens. David and Jake lit the two candles, the shamus and the candle for the first night. They said the prayers, sang songs, played with the dreidel, had potato latkes, all their traditions. Then the candles were still burning, so David went upstairs to work on his homework, while Jake stayed down and waited for the candles to burn themselves out. While he was waiting, there was a knock on the door. He opened it. There was a woman who spoke in a heavy German accent. Excuse me, I noticed your menorah in your window. It reminded me of my family's menorah. I've never seen another one like it. May I come in and look at yours? Of course. Come in. Happy Hanukkah. But it's not actually mine. It belongs to David, a boy who's upstairs. Let me get him down, and he can tell you about his menorah. David, would you please come downstairs? There's a lady who wants to talk to you about the menorah. And so David came down, and in the light thrown from his family's menorah, he was reunited with his mother. And as far as I know, that is a true story.